Recording. I'm streaming. Nobody is there yet. Nobody is there yet.
Who is streaming at this time? It's too late.
Accepted. Okay, people. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the live stream this evening. We're looking back at the markets once more. All the things we saw today on the charts, basically. I'll first and foremost say the chart did somewhat as planned, more like what was planned for it. But first and foremost, we're going to start by saying thank you all for coming. For those of you who are new to this little show from the Chuksniki brand, well, what we do here is we analyze the market. Sometimes we analyze before, sometimes we analyze after. We analyze the week just before it comes, and then the week after, and we see what happened, what we think is going to happen, what we expect to happen daily. Also, we do that every morning. Also, drop videos on the days we cannot make lives and all that stuff. So this is the last video we made on the channel, and do well to hit the subscribe button. Join the moving train, people. Join the moving train. It is very important to do. I really hope you guys can hear me clearly. A lot of people are not subscribed, and I'd like to take like this, maybe a minute for you to go down there, hit the subscribe button, and we'll move ahead. All right, so heading straight into the markets. Well, this morning we had a prediction. Should I call it prediction? Nah, I'll call it analysis. This morning we had analysis based on supply and demand, right? Supply and demand, market structure. And we went all the way from the monthly to the 1 hour, and we found opportunities, and we said right here, you can see my inscription down here. It said waiting for price. This was where we did the analysis this morning. We're waiting for price to come down into the zone, and then we're going to observe. We were supposed to observe that in the 15 minutes, observe price in the 15 minutes, see it do the first push and retest in the 15 minutes, and then we're supposed to hit the buy button around here. Meaning, if you were watching that market, if you were watching this market, you were supposed to watch out for all of this that played through, and then the moment you see this, you start to look for price to come into your zone, and you're supposed to trade up, right? Meaning, a lot of you ought to be in a trade. Some of you ought to be in a trade. Some of you ought to still be waiting for a trade, which is around here. For those who can wait, which is here, just wait and aim for the 1 hour demand supply zone. Not the top of it anyway, the proximal line right here. So this would have been a 4.96 risk to reward ratio. But I know it's quite scary to take this kind of trades, right? It's quite scary. Even I personally, if I had seen this, I won't actually take it because I'm not too certain. Like, there's no clear show of move here. Matter of fact, when I opened this chart this evening and I looked at the 1 hour chart, I was like, not really. Price already created a new supply zone here, right? Created a new supply zone right here. And if you were to trade, then when price comes around here, you're already, inching to work out of this market. But as it is right now, we see price push up, but not break above this high, which is not like a good thing. It's not really a good thing. I know some people will be looking at this zone and saying, "Oh, this is a zone. It's supposed to stay. It's supposed to hang. It's a good zone to stay in. Take price from here and take a trade, right?" But I'm gonna tell you something right now. This doesn't look good to me. This doesn't look so good to me. Though it could still work out, right? It could still work out price could still decide to do this, come down in here and push up. Price could still decide to do that. However, I'd rather not risk this move. I'd rather not risk this move because if you look here again, as soon as price hit the supply zone, price created another huge supply right here. So now we are having like a double confirmation of supply within this area. That means the supply here is quite credible, and it's going to take a lot for price to come in and go out. And take note, this is almost night time. Well, but the good thing is this is when the Japanese traders, the Asian traders come into the market. If we push into we go into, let's say, trading view. Let's just call trading view, right? We go into trading view. I think my session indicator should still be there. And we go, right there, we're in the perfect equation. The US dollar against the Japanese yen. Yep. So we're currently entering the Sydney session. And what you should pay attention to is this. In the recent sets of swing, right? In the recent swing, that is from the highs to the lows. I have to pay attention to this. So from the highs to the lows, in the recent swing, you notice that the Sydney session has like a constant play here. Let me turn everything off and you would observe the Sydney session. These two sessions are what we're looking out for, the Sydney and Tokyo session. And you notice here that the Tokyo session is mostly where breakthrough happens. Right? Watch this. Notice that break of structure happening again in Tokyo, happening again within the Tokyo zone. So what does it mean? It doesn't really mean that we're going to see another clear break here. It doesn't mean that we are, but there's a high tendency that this is the session where we start to see another push downwards. And these are the things you need to always look out for in trading. These are the things you need to really look out for. The Tokyo session has that constant shift recently. And for us to know where it's headed to, we need a higher time frame zone. And looking at the higher time frame zone right now, we have this sorry, I'm trying to get the background color to come on. Yeah, so we have this zone right here. Let's go back to our trader, our very own broker, right? A very own broker. And I want you to look at this whole situation, right? Look at this whole situation. And let's go hard right on this. Put it right at the lowest and straight down. So on the daily, our zone is so far away. Again, this was something that I think I had drawn already. There were so many lines, a lot of confusions. Yep, so you can see I already had the daily set up where it was supposed to be. Now, we're likely in that circle where price can push further lower to break below on the daily. Take notes on this same time frame, we would have taken this place as a zone. We would have, right? We would have. But what has happened? Price has mitigated and pushed away from it. So on the 4 hours, right? On the 4 hours, we have this right here. This is the clearest zone after this. But remember that the 4 hours is a substructure of the daily. And hence, what is the daily structure? What is the real daily structure here? Real daily structure is this low to this high to this low. You can also say from this low to this high, breaking down that substructure right now. We have this with these retracements. Then we have all these mingle jingles. So, what do you really want to see here? What do you really want to see? So, price has pushed so strong downwards, and you can see that it has been trying to create like lower lows inside here at all time. It's finding it difficult to push above. So there's a higher tendency for price to. I know some people are already drawing flag pattern like this. Some people are already drawing flag pattern saying this is likely a flag pattern. If price breaks below, then the price has come 1, 2, 3. The price is supposed to break below. You know that pattern where they say price comes like this, hits the top, hits the bottom, hits the top again, and it's supposed to break below. So a lot of people are already anticipating for this to happen. Some other people are anticipating for the opposite one to happen. It's just filled with confusion. But all we are looking at here is none of that. We're looking at market structure, simply market structure, to determine what we're saying with a little bit of nuance. And the nuance we just saw here, like I showed you guys, is how price tends to have been behaving to the Sydney and Tokyo session recently. We are currently at another Sydney/Tokyo session, and a lot of people are looking at this as a level. And I'm saying this, my dear friends, is not a level, which is the same thing as price here. So right here, this, my dear friends, is not a level. That's one. Secondly, uh, secondly, this level has been mitigated. So all we are looking out for now is what time frame is this level created on. It was created on the 1 hour time frame. So basically it has been mitigated. Price has gone below it on the 1 hour, and then now we're looking for price to push further lower. So with price within this zone, it seems like a good zone to short, right? It seems like, but I wouldn't personally want to short this zone for one reason. For one simple reason. If I draw my retracement, right? This is my retracement. If I draw my retracement with this small structure, now there's a very small structure here. I want you guys to observe this. We have this high to this low, to this high, to this low, to this high. Now you would have said this low, but price didn't break here. Now we have this low. This is what I want you to look out for. Now from this high to this low, this structure we are seeing right here is what? Is within the discount zone already. I cannot be selling for cheap. Do you get it? I cannot be selling for cheap. If I want to sell, I want to sell for an expensive price, right? I want to sell for an expensive price. I want to sell when it's in a premium zone of that leg. And this is a premium zone right above it. So on the 4 hours, we have this big one. And then remember the big brother, small brother confluence, right? Big brother, small brother confluence. So this is the big brother, which is the 4 hours, and this 1 hour zone here is the small brother confluence. So what I personally want to see is, I personally want price to come back up here, and then within this zone I can then look for shorting opportunities to this direction and even furthermore. So again, we're waiting for price to come back into this zone. Personally, I don't know about you. Personally, I'm waiting for this zone. Is there anybody in the chat room? Let's see. Okay, we don't have anybody in the chat room yet. Well, we're simply waiting for price to come back into this zone. And when price comes into this zone, we can then look for trades aiming for lower time frame. So as you can see, I already have a trade pending here, and I don't need to take any more trades because I already have one basically. So to me, I don't see a reason to place any more trades. But then again, let's see if there's a reason why price should, go higher than that. Let's see if there's a reason why price should go higher than that. So currently right here, we have the 4 hours above, another 4 hour above, and that 4 hour above is not even all enough, right? There's another 4 hour again, even above that. So in essence, what are we saying? If we want to trade the 1 hour leg, right? The 1 hour leg that we're seeing here, until price starts to break above this particular high, right? I'm looking to short right here. Matter of fact, there's too many colors. So let me just start reducing this the amount of stocks we have on the screen. Perfect. So on the 1 hour structure, right? The 1 hour structure, we have this structure right here. So we are hoping for this to happen. Now that's why I will place a trade here. Now with my trade here, let's assume on the 4 hours, price doesn't want to utilize this zone anymore. Price wants to retrace for the 4 hours time frame. Automatically, what it means is we will then have this whole zone to look out for. Meaning, this zone will be, dismantled, will be removed. And if price is going to remove this zone, well, it simply means one thing. Price first and foremost has to break above this 1 hour high. So price breaking above this 1 hour high already, you can see my first trade here. You can see it right here. Price breaking above this 1 hour high and closing above is price telling me that, okay, on the 4 hours, we want to start a bullish move. And what would that mean? I'll start looking for demand zones on the 1 hour to follow price up for more, possibly to this point. It could still continue up for more to this zone. That is on the 4 hours. So we really need to be careful. Right? We need to be very, very careful at this point for two reasons. On the 4 hours, is there a demand zone here? Nope, there's no demand zone. This is the next 4 hour demand zone. Just for you guys to see it carefully, right? For you to see it clearly. This is where price is currently at. This is the zone it's created on the 4 hours. So you can see right here, it created this zone right now, like not long ago. And if you look hard left, you can't see any zone here. So you take your 2 down behind this. You can see no zone here up until price got here. And then got here, and this is the zone. So for me, I still see reasons to short this market, possibly to this location, which is what I have here. Trading this, following this trade. If I should come with this leg right here, from this low to the retracement. Yeah. So I have a trade that is already situated at a zone I feel personally makes more sense. by the standards of demand and supply. By the standard of demand and supply, it makes more sense. Price will bounce off here on the 1 hour. Obviously, price will bounce off, but it will bounce off looking for what again? Higher prices. You know, looking for a good cheap price. But again, price could still do what it does best, right? It can still do what it does best, which is to absolutely insult everybody. That's another thing price could really do, and continue its run downwards. However, that's my lookout for the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Now let's go into a different currency. I already have a trade here. I already have two trades here. I'm going to close this one out because this trade doesn't seem viable to me. Instead of closing it out, I think I'll just push the price upwards. I can't be doing that. So 73.22. 7.322. Right there. That's it. So I'm just hedging myself for a 4 hour trade. So this trade I'm risking about 10,000 naira for loss. Yep. And I'm aiming for a profit of the 4 hour zone. Alright, so we have our trade set up. Now let's go on to the last place we made money. The euro against the US dollar. I think I need to refresh this page. We're having small network issues. Let's refresh and see what happens. Come on. For those of you who are still around here, while this refresh is going on, I'd like to say if you do trade Forex or crypto, you can leave a comment. I want to see the comments that okay, I trade crypto, I trade Forex, whatever you trade. I want to know what you trade. I want to know how you trade it and why you think it's a good thing to trade. Because some people just dive into the market and they don't know exactly what they are doing. You may not know exactly what you're doing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying if you do not know what you're doing, then your chance to stand up and talk. I might reply you. Somebody else who might be way more profitable than I am. I may be in the chat room right there to reply you and tell you, oh, what you're doing is not so good. What you're doing is good. What you're doing can be better, can be more polished. So do well to drop that chat. I want to see what you guys are really trading. Forex, indices, Bank Nifty, crypto, stock, metals. Well, anyways, let's head into the euro against the US dollar. First and foremost, we have the clear structure, right? The clear structure right here. So clear structure suggests that price is coming for this monthly supply zone, right? Price is coming for the monthly supply zone. If price is coming for the monthly supply zone, then how do we follow price at location? Well, we start by going into lower time frames. Now, all of this was consolidation, right? All of this was consolidation. Let's zoom that in while the network burns our time a little bit. I'm kind of having terrible network tonight. I don't know why. Okay, so in the monthly, right? All of this was consolidation on the monthly. But the good thing about this consolidation is that you can still use it as a lower time frame structure. Also gives you the idea of a substructure. So what is the substructure here? You have this to this retracement to this point up to this point, right? up here, down here, up there. So that's what we have. That's what we have currently. So let's take all of that away. But what do we really want to see on the weekly? What are we really looking for on the weekly? Well, on the weekly, we have this zone, which price is currently, mitigating, and most probably will rip apart. And then we have this other zone right here, the weekly. What are the demand zones on the weekly? As you can see, there was supposed to be one here, but price already utilized it, right? We had one here, but guess what? Price has utilized it too. What do we have left? We have this zone left. So this is our only weekly supply zone left. And I don't see, personally, right? I don't see how I'll drive a car to, let's say, close to my destination. Because I forgot my handkerchief, I'm going to go back home. What do I mean? I don't see price doing this. I don't see price doing this before it does this. It's absolutely absurd. Like it is. It's crazy if anybody thinks price is going to do that. What I see, basically, what I see, though surprisingly, there's another zone inside here. Because the zone is so small, it's so small and fragile that you won't notice it. So what I see personally is price is just going to run away from it straight, gets here and do whatever it needs to then do next. That's what I see. So on the daily, the structure becomes more evident, right? Market structure for guys. Let's draw the market structure for you guys. So starting from this low, we have clear high. We're looking for where price broke below this level, right there. So I'm drawing the substructure here. The clear substructure. It is so clear. People might miss it, but to me it is clear. We have this low, right? We have this low, and then price finally did what? Broke above this high here, and came back and broke above this one again. Came back, broke above, but this I won't call this a pullback. I'll call it all the way to this point. Pulled back, and now we're seeing this high. So if there is going to be a pullback, what are the zones we have? So we had this zone, but price has already just tapped into it. Next up, we have this zone. So this zone is so far away and so miniature, but it doesn't mean it can't happen, right? Again, remember, this is the retracement too. But when do we start to look for that retracement? When do we start to look for that opportunity to sell? Well, two things, right? There are two ways you can look for it. Since we're on the daily time frame, you want to see price start to break below candle lows. That's the first thing. The first thing is you want to start seeing price absolutely tarnish zones like this. This candle low, this candle low, this candle low. So you want to start to see price tarnishing these images. And then you still wait, right? You're still waiting for price to break below a clear zone. This is a zone. And then come back for a retest. Now, with that retest, you're going to watch how price reacts to that retest. If price does this out of that retest, then you are good to go for price coming here and most possibly here. But for now, price is not Price isn't they are not even trying to hold back at all. Price is not trying to hold back one bit. It's on the high run, to the high run, to the high run. This is where I made some cash yesterday, last night, and was it last night or 2 nights ago? I think that was last night. So this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Those who are still watching, this is exactly what I'm saying. So we've seen price start to break lows here. It creates this low, breaks it. Now the thing is, price hasn't broken this low yet. People would see this and say it has broken below. No, it has not. Why? It is simple. Until we see a candle close below these levels, it is not broken. They are just liquidated. So it means price just tapped in there, collected some liquidity, and moved away. It doesn't mean price has broken. To get it, it means that there's enough liquidity for price to not stay below that level. There's enough orders, there's enough buy orders, or yeah, buy orders in this case, right? Or stop loss orders, which is also buy orders. There are enough buy orders below this zone for price to push away immediately. So it's more like a liquidity grab, liquidity take, more like a liquidity run. So it just, sorry, raid, not run. It just raided liquidity and ran away, touched the liquidity and ran away. All of these are no longer important. These are zones that are supposed to be watched out for. So if you start to see that break below, that clear break below, right? The 4 hours, then we can start by aiming for the first 4 hour zone here, which would be by coming into the 1 hour and observing that this zone will clearly be respected by price. So this is another way you can now tell if price respects this zone and then what breaks below this place, which is this low right here. Price then breaks below this low, and not just any kind of break, right? You need to see clear breaks with a show of zone. Just like right here now, price has already shown on the 1 hour, right? On the 1 hour, price has already shown a shift, a small market structure break, right? Small BOS. So you can see how it's connecting right now. If I remove this and put it here, this is it. You can see. So you can call this a bearish break of structure already on the 1 hour. Now take note, break of structure on the 1 hour does not mean the 4 hours is valid. The 4 hours is not yet valid. It's not yet a valid break of structure because it hasn't closed. On the 1 hour, it is valid. So we are looking to say, okay, price is now within this 1 hour demand zone, right? Now that price is within the 1 hour demand zone, we're going to go into the 15 minutes and observe, is price breaking lows on the 15 minutes also. Even on the 5 minutes, you can do the same thing. You go down from the 15 minutes to the 5 minutes. Is it breaking lows? You can watch out for this right now. You can see it breaking below these candles already on 1 minute. You can see it breaking below the candles on the 1 minute. But another thing you need to look out for on this time frame, there is no supply. Nevertheless, because it's a higher time frame supply zone, you can still sit down and observe. What are you observing? You're observing this low on the 15 minutes. We're observing for this low. We're hoping for price to get retest. Do that twice. Continue its journey. Now on the lower time frame, you need as much confirmation as possible. Trust me. You need as much confirmation as possible, especially if you are trailing for a way higher time frame low. For example, I'm aiming for this 4 hour low, right? I'm aiming for this 4 hours. Take note, I'm aiming for this 4 hours right here. If I'm aiming for this 4 hours and I'm looking at it on the 15 minutes, I want to see a very, very confident move, right? I want to see a very confident move. I want to see the last created zone on the 15 minutes, which is this. I want to see it break. I want to see price in the 15 minutes. That means I want to see price close on the 15 minutes. I want to see it close below here. And in its closing, it's going to create a supply zone here. If it doesn't create a supply zone for me before it breaks this, it's a no-brainer. This is not a trade to be in. On the 1 hour, you can apply the same principle. There's no zone here on the 1 hour. This is the sweet thing about the 1 hour. You can't find a zone here, but you can clearly find a big brother, small brother confirmation of zone within the lower place. That is the aimed target on the you are aiming for a demand trade, a shorting trade. This is the best target that you can aim for because you are seeing like clear strength here. Now what do? We draw our retracement, right? From the low to the high. We're expecting price to retrace to the low, right? So we go from the low to the high. We're expecting price to retrace here, come in, take it, and then go up for the week. And possibly, if it is serious, right? If it is serious, it's going to then break below this zone. And then come back for a retest and run away. But what is for price to come to this level? So again, in 15 minutes, I can sit down here and scalp this market. If you are a scalper, you can sit down on the 15 minutes on the euro US dollar and you watch out for price breaking lows. If price continues to break those lows, then you are good to go. I don't know what's wrong with the network tonight. I'm having terrible services. Let's see if the euro. Yep. Okay, so it's good. So like I said, right? You're waiting to see price start to break below this low, break below this lows. And first and foremost, break below this zone. You're a scalper, right? But again, price is going to do it. Price could still, you can see it inching slowly. It could slowly also continue its normal journey and break above. So that's it for the euro US dollar right now. Let's take a good look at the British pound against the US dollar. We've not looked at this pair at all on this chart yet, like on this live videos. Let's take a good look at the British pound against the US dollar. The terrible network is really getting to us. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it's up now. So on the monthly, right? On the monthly, what do we see? We see price break this low, break this high, break this low. Now it is creating a high. But take note that high is now way past the demand zone, supply zone, sorry. It's now way past the supply zone. Hence, I'm going to take my eyes down to this spot. Now, this is not the origin of the demand zone. This here is the origin of the demand zone. So, what do I want to see? Yeah, I really want to see price come down, and then I can hope for up push. But I'm not a position trader. So let's look at the smaller structure quickly. From here, we have this price action. We have this price action, and I would simply just dive into the weekly, and you see it. There it is, a clear price action. A higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and printing a higher high, I was hoping for it to come down within this zone on the monthly. So looking at this zone on the monthly, from looking for a weekly perspective here, we would have had one right here, but it's been mitigated. We would have had another one right here, but it's been mitigated again by this candle. Hence, we do not have a big brother in terms of weekly to monthly, but we can still have a small brother on the daily, right? Yeah, right. We can always have a small brother on the daily. I don't understand this network supply tonight. My network provider is just acting up crazy. So on the daily, and this is where I like to test, right? The daily, we are now witnessing some consolidation for the past 4 days. You can see this consolidation right here. This is like a decision point. This is a decision point. By the time they make a decision, they're either going to see price come down drastically or go up drastically again as soon as they are done deciding. But while they are deciding, we can start looking for possible areas of interest, points of interest, right? First point of interest I see here is this small brother within the big brother zone. And then the next one I see is this standalone zone. So I foresee personally, I foresee if price starts to pull downwards, with the high tendency price is going to break this, then for this is what I think would happen. So I cannot see this market as a market that I want to trade in the first place. I mean, it doesn't look like a market that should be traded by me. So this is all, people. I'd like to thank you all again for joining me for this market analysis tonight. I know it's way late in the night for Nigerians, but quite not too late for people in the foreign states, the US and the rest. But this is the look at the market from an end of business perspective, and then seeing what happened today and what you expect to happen probably at night or tomorrow morning. But regardless, whatever it is, do well to manage your risk. Trading is risky. You may lose your money, and do well to be very, very cautious with how you dive into trades, especially with those loss size and contracts. Especially with those loss size and contracts. I'd like to say thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all on another one. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. We release videos every day on the market. Every day we're analyzing different markets. And you can drop comments on the markets you want analysis on. Forex in particular, because I don't want to dive into any other markets. Forex. Though we can also still check others, but I am more focused on the Forex expectations. So thank you all and peace. Good night.